This video shows all important steps for successful packing of YMC lab scale glass columns with helpful tips and hints. In this example, an eco column is packed with a soft gel by using the flow packing method. All preparative stages, such as washing the resin and removing fines, had already been carried out before the video. The preparation is described in detail in the manufacturer's instructions. Also, important information such as the recommended slurry concentration and packing parameters are specified there. The following materials are used: the eco column with a suitable packing adapter, the packing solvent, the prepared resin, a wash bottle, a laboratory stand to attach the column, and a chromatography system. Other items used in the video are listed here. In this video, a packing adapter is used because the slurry volume exceeds the maximum volume of the column. If a packing adapter is required, depends on the final bed length and the packing parameters. If you want to see how the packing adapter is assembled for Eco and ECOPLUS columns, watch our video about the assembly here. For this video, the packing adapter is already pre-assembled. In the next section, you will learn how to pack a column successfully. After the column is positioned, tighten the O-ring of the lower piston. Connect the tubing from the system to the lower end piece. Start the pump with a low flow rate. Pump approximately 1 to 2 cm of liquid into the column from below. This ensures that no air is trapped in the bottom frit. Stop the pump and disconnect it from the lower piston. Close the lower piston with a plug. The vertical alignment of the column is important for the final packing quality. Therefore, check the alignment of the column with a spirit level. This will allow a homogeneous packing density. Connect the upper piston outside the column to the system to flush it. This way, air is removed from the upper piston and frit. 10 to 20 seconds with low flow rate are enough. Stop the system afterwards. Have a funnel, spatula and a wash bottle ready. The resin has already been prepared according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Take the measuring beaker with the resin. Homogenize the slurry gently with a spatula. Stir constantly without changing of direction in order to avoid the entry of air. It is important that the slurry is homogeneous. A mixing time of 5 minutes is recommended. Carry out the next steps as quickly as possible in order to avoid resettlement of the material. Before adding the slurry into the column, check that the outlet of the column is closed with a plug. It is easier to use a funnel for the next step. Pour the homogenized slurry into the open column. Pour the slurry down the glass wall in order to avoid the entry of air. Rinse any remaining resin from the beaker and funnel with packing solvent. Especially when packing small inner diameter columns, this is important to reach the final bed length. Pour the rinsed resin into the column. Fill the column completely with packing solvent until it reaches the upper edge. Disconnect the upper piston from the system and check that the piston is in the uppermost position. Check that the O-ring of the piston is loose and put the upper piston in a slight angle on the glass edge of the packing adapter. Bring the piston slowly into a vertical position. Make sure that no air is trapped below the piston. Close the counter screw. Tighten the O-ring. Lower the upper piston until it is filled completely with liquid. This is noticeable by a drop forming on top of the piston and ensures that no air is trapped inside of it. Start the pump with a low flow rate. Connect the tubing to the upper piston. Then, remove the plug from the lower piston and connect the tubing to the waste bottle. Perform these steps quickly to avoid pressure inside the column. Of course, you can also connect the tubing to the system or to the solvent reservoir to recirculate it. Make sure that all connections are tight and the column is properly sealed. Increase the flow rate stepwise until you reach the required flow rate or packing pressure. For the correct packing parameters, please read the instructions of the resin. Wait until the column bed has formed and the bed length does not change anymore. To check this, measure the current column bed with a measure tape and mark the bed length under flow. Note that this is the bed length after the consolidation step and deviates from the final length. The final bed length will be achieved after the compression step, which comes after removing the packing adapter. Decrease the flow rate stepwise until the pump can be stopped. Remove the tubing from the lower piston. Close the lower piston with a plug. Loosen the O-ring and remove the upper piston from the packing adapter. Remove the liquid in the packing adapter with a syringe. To remove the packing adapter, unscrew the counter nut of the column. Loosen the fixing clamp which is holding the packing adapter in place and take the adapter aside. Remove the black snap ring from the upper counter screw of the packing adapter using the frit removal tool. Clean the black snap ring with packing solvent. Now remove the blue column coupler snap ring of the upper counter screw of the main column. Assemble the black snap ring on the column. If necessary, fill the column with packing buffer up to the upper edge. Make sure that the upper piston is in the uppermost position. Insert the upper piston at an angle to the glass edge of the column to avoid trapping air. Close the counter screw and tighten the O-ring. Connect the upper piston to the waist. Lower the upper piston by turning the counter screw in the indicated direction until the piston is just above the column bed. Remove the air in the tubing of the system by applying a low flow rate. Remove the tubing from the upper piston. Allow packing solvent to drip from the tubing of the system into the piston until a drop forms. Then connect the tubing to the upper piston. Remove the plug from the lower piston and connect the waste bottle to it. Perform these steps quickly to avoid pressure inside the column. Make sure that all connections are tight and that no liquid is leaking. Increase the flow rate stepwise until you reach the required flow rate and packing pressure, which is described in the instructions of the packing material. Wait until the bed length does not change anymore. Measure with a measure tape that the required bed length has been achieved and mark the new position of the bed under flow. Decrease the flow rate stepwise until you can stop the pump. Remove the tubing from the lower piston. Close the lower piston with a plug. Disconnect the pump from the upper piston and connect the piston to the waist. Lower the upper piston until you reach the mark. This is an important step as the resin must be packed under compression. Disconnect the waste from the upper piston and close the column with a plug. The packing of the glass column is now completed. Perform the qualification corresponding to the manufacturer's recommendations or guidelines to verify the packing quality. You can also find everything you need to know about packing glass columns in our step-by-step guide or attend one of our expert seminars to become a column packing professional.